Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know that we have already finished our complete chapter, that is a body fluids and circulation, chapter number 18 from the 11th standard CBSE unit number 5 human physiology. And today in this lecture I am going to explore this complete chapter's review in one lecture. So in this lecture I am going to explain you the full revision of chapter from the first topic of introduction up to the last topic, that is disorders of circulatory system. So let's begin in detail. So guys, as you know that this chapter is very valuable in terms of a NEET examination. So this chapter, if it is too much valuable, then we have to describe this revision in that level. No doubt we have described every topic in detail, but this revision also I would like to describe you in detail. So let's begin with chapter number 18, body fluids and circulation. This chapter is fully related to the blood and heart. So introduction. What is actually body fluids and circulation? We know that body fluids are nothing but those kind of a liquid or basically the semi-solid like a jelly-like material, or not even jelly-like. Blood is not in jelly-like material. So they are actually heavier than the water. They are one kind of a fluid. Basically we have a number of a fluid in our body, like a cerebrospinal fluid, which is rotating from our brain to the, I mean to say from the upper portion of the brain up to the last vertebrae at the back side. There is a synovial fluid is also available. Synovial fluid is basically found inside our synovial joint. We also called it as a perfect joint. Yes. And a third type of a fluid is nothing but the blood. Yes. And there are other fluid like a lymph, like there is a pericardial fluid. So pericardial fluid, lymph and blood we are going to discuss in this topic. So title is body fluids and circulation. So we have understood what is body fluid. Now what does it mean by circulation? So whatever energy we are getting by eating a food material, so this energy is turned into this energy has to be transported to the every cell's cytoplasm of every cells, or you can say body tissues, via only one pathway, that's called circulation. So stream of blood or stream of energy via blood to each and every cell cytoplasm, this is called simply circulation. So we are going to describe this in detail. So first topic which we have learned in this chapter, that was a blood and formed element. What is blood? I'll describe a little bit of and fast. We will not consume a 5 to 6 hours continuity, because we have described blood in just only half hour to around 40 minutes. So here I'll describe blood in 5 minutes. So we have to cover all this topic in one lecture, just because blood is nothing but the one type of a connective tissue, which is red in color because it contains iron containing pigment in a blood, that's called as a hemoglobin. Just because of hemoglobin present in RBC, blood is red in color. One hemoglobin molecule can attach with a 4 oxygen molecule at a one time, that we have understood. Basically the blood present in human being is about 5 liter, or you can say 6 to 8% of body weight, but generally 5 liter is most probably the suitable ratio. Blood, study of blood is called as a hematology. Study of blood is called hematology. Blood have a 90% of water and 10% of solute. If you classify this solute, so out of this 10% solute, if you consider that 100 solute 10% convert into 100%, so out of 100%, 45% are blood cells or blood corpuscle like RBC, WBC, platelets, and remaining is the plasma. What is plasma? Plasma is a yellow straw in color, which is responsible for carrying the nutrient, and this nutrient includes carb, means carbohydrate, proteins, lipid, nucleic acid. Protein includes albumin, thrombin, prothrombin, fibrinogen. These are clotting factors also, and it also carry enzymes, hormone and protein, and in returning it also collect the waste material, that's called as a urea. Blood cells or blood corpuscles are divided into 3 main categories: RBC, WBC, platelet. RBC, scientifically they are called as a erythrocyte because they are red blood cells, scientifically erythrocyte. WBCs are scientifically called as a leukocyte, and platelets are scientifically called as a thrombocytes. All the cells together they are produced from bone marrow by the process called hematopoiesis. Hem, blood, poiesis formation. So hematopoiesis, blood cell formation. Only RBC formation means if RBCs are forming in bone marrow, so the process will be called erythropoiesis. Poiesis is nothing but the formation. Erythro means red. So erythropoiesis, RBC formation. Leukopoiesis, WBC formation. Thrombopoiesis, platelet formation. Got it? All together, hematopoiesis, RBC, erythropoiesis, WBC, leukopoiesis, platelet, thrombopoiesis. Normal quantity of RBC is about 4.5 to 5.5 million per cubic mm. If RBC increases than that number, then it is called erythrocytosis. If RBC decreases in number, then we call erythrocytopenia. In detail, if you wanted to learn, then you can see my lecture related to blood, because I cannot describe you everything in too much detail, because it's just only the revision lecture which will complete chapter. Okay guys, therefore I cannot go in very much detail. So if RBC increases than the normal value, then it is called erythrocytosis. Cis means increase. RBC, erythrocytosis, increased number of RBC. If RBC decreases than their normal range, then it is called erythrocytopenia. If WBC increases than their number, then it is called leukocytosis. WBC cis increase. If WBC decreases than their number, then it is called leukocytopenia. Penia stands for decrease. If platelet increase there, and WBC is nobody's normal range. What was the normal range of RBC? 4.5 to 5.5 cubic per million cubic per mm. Normal range of WBC is around 5 to 11,000. 5 to 11,000. In some book it is written 7 to 9,000. Doesn't make it too much difference. Yes, but it is around 9 up to 9 or 11,000 will be there. If WBC increases than their number, then it is called leukocytosis. If WBC decreases their number, then it is called leukocytopenia. For every cell increases, you have to put a cis word, and for every cell decreases, you should put penia word. Platelet. Normal quantity of platelet is a 1.5 to 2.5 million per cubic mm. If platelet rises, increases in their number, then it is called thrombocytosis, and decreases in their number, it is called thrombocytopenia. So RBC increase, erythrocytosis, decrease, erythrocytopenia. WBC increase, leukocytosis. WBC decrease, leukocytopenia. Platelet increase, thrombocytosis. Platelet decrease, thrombocytopenia. Got it? Now, basically, the lifespan of a human RBC is around 90 to 120 days. 90 to 120 days. Lifespan of a WBC is 3 to 4 days. Lifespan of a platelet is around few days. Then RBCs are mainly engaged in the transport of O2 from lungs to the body tissue, and collect the CO2 from body tissue back to the lungs via heart. Yes, when we are transferring oxygen from lungs to body tissue, we have to cross heart, and when we are transferring CO2 from body tissue to the lungs, we have to cross heart. RBCs are actually non-nucleated in human being. Yes, but their cytoplasm contain hemoglobin, and one hemoglobin can combine with a 4 oxygen molecule at one time. Means one hemoglobin can bind with a 4 oxygen molecule at one time. Hemoglobin range in male is around 14 to 18 gram. In some book it is written 12 to 16 gram, doesn't make any difference. In case of female, it's generally 12 to 14 gram. So female has a slightly less amount, to around 2 gram less hemoglobin as compared to the male. Main function of a WBC, main function of RBC carry oxygen and collect CO2, and main function of WBC is to give a immunity to our body. WBCs are fighter cells of our body, and WBC also have a type, I'll tell you. And platelet, main function of a platelet is to coagulate blood. When we are having a you can say bleeding or hemorrhage, that time clotting of a blood is the function of a blood platelet, because blood platelet produce clotting factors. WBCs are further divided into two main categories, like a granulocyte, a granulocyte. Granulocytes are those which have granules in their cytoplasm, and agranulocytes are those which don't have granules in their cytoplasm. Like granulocytes are neutrophil, eosinophil, basophil, and agranulocytes are lymphocyte and monocyte. If you wanted to see there in detail, you can watch the lecture about related to blood and form element. Next topic is blood group. Blood group is nothing but one kind of a blood group is nothing but the one kind of identity possessed by every individual person, that they are considered that they are having A positive blood group, B positive blood group, etc. etc. Blood group are of basically two systems, ABO system and RH system. ABO stand for A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and O blood group. This blood group system was discovered by the scientist called Karl Landsteiner. Karl Landsteiner in the year 19th century, and he got Nobel Prize for discovering ABO blood group system in 1930. And in 1940 he introduces new technique called as RH factor. RH stands for rhesus factor. Rhesus factor is a factor which is collected from the one rhesus monkey. Monkey's name was rhesus. So our ABO system is to find out, diagnose only which type of a blood group we have, and RH factor is to find out whether our blood is a positive blood group or whether our blood group is negative blood group. ABO blood grouping system, like a antigen present on our RBC, is called surface antigen, also known as a blood group antigen. This antigen decide our blood group. Like if we have a blood group, then we have a antigen and we'll have opposite antibody B. If we have a B blood group, then we will have a B antigen, antibody will be opposite A. If we have a AB blood group, then both antigen A and B will be present but antibody will be none. And if we have a O blood group, then both antigen will be absent but both antibody A and B will be present. Blood groups, those blood groups we are originated, we are having a same antigen but antibody will be opposite to that. Antibody will be contrasting to that. Yes. So it simply is that O blood group is considered as a universal donor. Universal donor, because O blood group don't have any antigen, so we can donate to anybody. A, B, AB, O. And AB blood group have a both antigen, therefore AB blood group is considered as a universal acceptor. Got it? RH factor is to determine whether our blood group is positive or negative. How to check our blood group, how to diagnose our blood group, whether which blood group we have, that I already explained in topic. So you can search in a blood group topic. If you wanted to search any kind of topic related to this chapter, just search blood group by Anandwani or blood group by Anandwani sir in YouTube, you will find that. Yes, next topic we are going to discuss about the blood clotting. What is blood clotting? So generally in our body, blood never get clot just because we have a chemical material called as a heparin. Due to presence of heparin, our blood never get clot in our body, and blood platelets are responsible for clotting of blood. But inside the body, blood platelets are inactive because they are engaged in blood clotting, but inside our body we don't have to clot the blood. But suppose if a minor cut takes place on the skin region, so bleeding takes place, blood comes out. So now heparin get inactive because heparin has to stop working, because heparin function is to allow the blood to flow, and now we have to stop it. So heparin become inactive, becomes inert, and who is going to become active? Platelets. So platelet will start acting and they will clot the blood. How? Clotting of blood, that I also explained you in the you can say topic, but I'll tell you in short. Generally prothrombin produces enzyme called prothrombinase, and it convert inactive actually thromboplastin produces enzyme prothrombinase, and it convert inactive prothrombin into active thrombin. And then finally fibrinogen, soluble fibrinogen, insoluble fibrinogen process takes place and we got fibrin clot. It takes around 2 to 8 minutes in a normal adult person for doing complete reaction and turn into blood clot or blood plaque. Okay, then we discuss about the lymph. What is lymph? Lymph is nothing but the colorless fluid. It is actually same like a blood. It is actually same like a blood, it's a fluid, but lymph is a colorless fluid. Just because lymph don't have RBC, neither have a blood platelet. Lymph have only plasma and you can say WBC. In some MCQ questions, some things are asked like that. What is a lymph? So options are there. Lymph is nothing but blood minus RBC and platelets. Only blood plasma and you can say WBC. So lymph is only containing blood plasma, and lymph is actually containing plasma and WBC. Now why there is a lymph? See, blood basically transport to the each and every cytoplasm inside the cell cytoplasm, but in between spaces of cell we called intracellular space or intracellular gap. From that area, waste material we have to collect. That's usually the fat, and to collect that, blood vessels can't enter there. So generally lymph vessels or lymphatic capillary collect such waste material. As a lymphatic capillaries collect such a waste material, there are some names are also originated to the lymphatic vessels. Like a lymphatic vessel which collect the lymph from the abdominal region or intestinal region, it is called lacteals. Just because this lymphatic vessel collect the lymph, and lymph most probably contain the fat. As it contains fat, the color of fat is white. White color we compare with the milk, and milk have a sugar called lactose. That's why that lymphatic vessel is called lacteals, which is a milky in appearance, white in color. Okay. After studying about the lymph, we'll go through the circulatory pathway. So I would like to tell you, basically there are two types of circulation, open and closed. Open type of a circulation means when blood flows in the empty cavity without blood vessels, it is called open type of circulation. Example, Arthropoda, mollusca. Phylum Arthropoda, mollusca are having open type of circulatory system. Then closed type of a circulatory system possessed by the some like a chordates. We are chordates. We are having closed type of circulatory system. Our blood is flowing inside the artery and vein. That's why it is calling as a closed type of circulatory system. Example, Arthropoda. Getting guys? And you can say Annelida, etc., etc. Animal, dog, cat, human being, everyone's are having closed type of circulatory system. Then another, like what is meant by pulmonary circulation, what is meant by pulmonary, what is meant coronary, what is meant by systematic circulation. So pulmonary circulation is a circulation in which there is a flow of blood from right ventricle to the left auricle. Blood present in right ventricle is impure blood, which pump go to the pulmonary trunk, then go to the pulmonary artery and go to the lungs. And from the lungs, pulmonary vein carry this pure blood and bring it to the left atrium. So flow of blood from right auricle to the left auricle is called pulmonary circulation. And then systematic circulation, the flow of blood from left ventricle to the right auricle is called systematic circulation. Pure blood present in left ventricle, which pump go to the systemic aorta. From systemic aorta, it distributed throughout the body via number of artery and then collect impure blood via vein, either via superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and coronary sinus. Blood come into the right atrium. So blood flow from left ventricle to right atrium is called systematic circulation. Then coronary circulation, the flow of blood to the heart and chest region, it is called the flow of blood into the heart and chest region, muscle of heart and chest region, it is called coronary circulation. Coronary artery supply pure blood to the heart and chest region, and coronary vein collect impure blood from heart and chest region, it is called coronary circulation. Then third, incomplete circulation, double circulation, and single circulation. What is that single circulation? If an animal possesses only two chambers of heart, one auricle and one ventricle, so there is only one path of a transport of a blood, it is called single circulation. Like fishes possess two chambers of heart. Then you can say double circulation. When an animal possesses four chambers of heart, like a two auricle and two ventricle, it is called double circulation. Double circulation, like we human being possess double circulation, two auricle, two ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle, left ventricle. And when an animal possesses three chambers of heart, two auricle and only single ventricle, it is called incomplete circulation. Like most probably amphibians are possessing incomplete circulation, except crocodile. Crocodiles are possessing four chambers of heart, so they being also amphibian, they are also considered as a double circulation. So this is about circulatory pathways. Now moving towards you can say human heart. Human heart is main hero of our this chapter, main hero of this full chapter. Yes, as you know that in a particular movie, who plays a lead role? So lead role is performed by the famous one. Yes, so we call main hero of that movie. So heart is the main hero of this chapter. I'll tell you three important things about the heart. Introduction to the heart, external structure of heart, internal structure of heart. Main topic. Introduction. Human heart can be defined as, it is nothing but the hollow, pumping, myogenic organ of our body. It is a hollow means empty from inside. Pumping, which work like a motor, suction. And myogenic means automatic working organ, because heart is made by involuntary muscle, so it is an automatic organ. So human heart is nothing but the hollow pumping myogenic organ of our body, which pump the blood from you can say on body parts to the body tissue and collect the impure blood from body tissue back to the heart. Human heart is about 250 to 300 gram in weight. In some books it is given 350 gram also, but most probably it is a 250 to 300 grams in weight. It is like a human fist, like a 4 finger ahead and thumbs inside it. 4 fingers ahead and thumb inside. You can do like that. Yes. So this is like a human fist. So human fist is same like a human heart. Yes. Our fist, human hand fist is same like a human heart. Human heart is located between two lungs. Human heart is located between two lungs in the chest cavity, but it is located towards the left side. This cavity is called mediastinum cavity. As heart is towards left side, left lungs have a 2 lobe and right lungs have a 3 lobe. Study of heart is called cardiology. Study of heart is called cardiology, and our heart is about 12 by 9. 12 centimeter in length and 9 centimeter in width. Human heart is covered by peritoneum cavity. This is called pericardium, and this pericardium are double layer. Outer is called fibrous pericardium, inner one is a serous pericardium. Fibrous pericardium is made by tough elastic tissue, and serous pericardium is further divided into like fibrous pericardium and then serous pericardium. Serous pericardium is further divided into 2 layers. Yes, and these 2 layers are outer parietal layer, inner visceral layer, and the gap between them is called pericardial space, which have a pericardial fluid, as I was talking this about in introduction. So pericardial fluid, it acts as a shock absorber. It also acts as a lubricant. When we heard something a good news and bad news, suddenly our adrenaline hormone increases, which increases our heartbeat. So that time shock is absorbed by the pericardial fluid located between parietal and visceral layers of a serous pericardium. Then heart also have a wall. So heart walls are generally of 3 categories: epicardium, myocardium, endocardium. Epi, outer; myo, middle; endo, inner. Cardium, heart wall. Epicardium, upper heart wall. Myocardium, middle heart wall. Endocardium, inner heart wall. Epicardium is made by epithelial cells. It is generally called as a mesothelium. Endocardium is also made by epithelial cell. It is generally called as a endocardium. Endocardium is generally also called as a endothelium. But middle layer, myocardium, is not made by epithelial cell. Epithelial cells are controlled cells in our willpower. But middle layer, myocardium, is made by the cardiac muscle, and these cardiac muscles are totally involuntary in our heart, and these cardiac muscles are not present anywhere else in our body. They are also showing intercalated disc, and these cardiac muscles are the muscle which are totally involuntary in nature. Okay. Now moving towards the external structure of heart. Human heart is made by four chambers. Upper 2 are called as a superior chamber, lower 2 are called inferior chamber. Superior chambers are also known as the atrium, atria or auricle. Superior chambers are also called as the atrium, atria or auricle, and inferior chambers are also called as a ventricle. Yes, upper 2 chambers superior, atria, atrium, auricle. Lower chambers are inferior, only of single name, ventricle. Both auricles are engaged in the process of receiving blood, and both ventricles are engaged in the process of pumping of blood. Both auricle receive blood, both ventricle pump the blood. Auricle and ventricle are connected to each other by arterioventricular septum. How you will be able to remember their name? 2 auricle, 2 ventricle. Yes, auricle and ventricle connected to each other by arterioventricular septum, arterioventricular groove, arterioventricular aperture or coronary sulcus. There are 4 names. Arterioventricular septum. What is this name? Auricle and ventricles are connected to each other by arterioventricular septum, arterioventricular groove, arterioventricular aperture or coronary sulcus. It is at the right side also, it is same at the left side also. one auricle is connected to another auricle, means right auricle connected to left auricle, or you can say left auricle connected to right auricle by interarterial septum, and both ventricles are connected to each other by interventricular septum. Both auricle, interarterial septum, both ventricle, interventricular septum. Got it? Remember, pulmonary trunk is the largest vein of our body which collect impure blood from right ventricle and transfer to the lungs via pulmonary artery. And systemic aorta is the largest artery in our body which collected the blood from left ventricle and transport to the whole body parts via number of branching artery. Keep it in mind one thing very clearly. Systemic aorta carry pure blood, largest artery, and pulmonary trunk carry impure blood, largest vein. In case of a fetus, means when a woman is pregnant, she is having a baby inside her womb. Male, female doesn't matter. She is having a baby inside womb. That is called fetus. So inside the fetus, systemic aorta and pulmonary trunk is the single pipe, which is called ligamentum arteriosum, which carry pure blood. In case of a fetus, systemic aorta and pulmonary trunk is the single pipe. It is called as a ligamentum arteriosum, which carry pure blood. And fossa ovalis is the vein which carry impure blood in case of a fetus. But after getting separate from mother by parturition or delivery, this ligamentum arteriosum get differentiated into systemic aorta and pulmonary trunk, which carry pure and impure blood respectively. Got it? Now, internal heart. Internal structure of heart also shows this internal four compartment, means four chamber, upper to auricle, atrium, and lower to ventricle. Both auricle receives the blood. How? Right auricle. I'm showing this now. My right and your right is something different, but you just hear it by the words, not by my only indication. My right is that side. Right auricle receives impure blood from body tissue via superior vena cava, via inferior vena cava, and via coronary sinus, and transfer blood to the right ventricle by crossing through arterioventricular septum, arterioventricular groove, arterioventricular aperture, and coronal sulcus. Yes, and from right ventricle blood should not be reversed back. Therefore, right side have one valve called as a tricuspid valve. It is made by three flap. That side is called tricuspid valve. Left auricle receives pure blood from lungs via pulmonary vein and transferred to the left ventricle by crossing through arterioventricular groove, arterioventricular aperture, arterioventricular septum or coronal sulcus. Now both auricle have received blood. Right auricle have received impure blood, left auricle have received pure blood, and transfer blood to the respective chamber. Right side backflow is prevented by tricuspid valve. Left side, I forgot to tell you, left side backflow is prevented by bicuspid valve. It is made by double layer. That side is called bicuspid valve. It is also called mitral valve. Now both ventricle have a blood. Right ventricle have impure blood which will be pumped and go to the pulmonary trunk and pulmonary artery carried to the lungs. Left ventricle have a pure blood which will be pumped and go to the systemic aorta, and different branches of systemic aorta transferred to the body tissue. This is internal structure of heart. Ventricles are also having a cardiac tendency, which are also working as a valve. They are preventing backflow of blood from ventricle moving towards top and returning back. Backflow is prevented by cardiac tendency. This is introduction to the heart, external structure of heart and internal structure of heart. Moving towards a conducting system, you can say cardiac cycle or then working of heart. First of all, I will tell you cardiac cycle. Cardiac cycle means how basically heart undergo conducting system. We know that heart undergo pumping, and pumping is actually done by the ventricle muscle. But who start action of pumping? So action is done by the SA node. So cardiac cycle or conducting system is performed by the four important organelles. SA node stand for sinoarterial node, AV node stand for arterioventricular node, bundle of His and Purkinje fiber. Sinoarterial node, arterioventricular node, bundle of His and Purkinje fiber. Sinoarterial node is located at the opening of a superior vena cava. As blood enters into sinoatrial node, it start creating a signal and transfer the signal to arterioventricular node. AV node means arterioventricular nodes receive the signal and transfer to the bundle of his, which are located in both the branch. Arterioventricular node is located at the base, or you can say opening of a coronary sinus, and finally they transfer signals to the both of the ventricle via bundle of his, and bundle of his produces thousands of small fiber which are called Purkinje fiber. Every Purkinje fiber receives the signal from bundle of his and undergo beating, and beating is done by ventricle muscle. Both ventricle pump the blood. Right ventricle pump impure blood to the pulmonary trunk, left ventricle pump pure blood to the systemic aorta. Around 35 ml pump is both the sides, so 70 ml blood is pumped per beat. We also call stroke volume, that I'll tell you later in this one. So this is about cardiac cycle or conducting system. Now about working of heart. Our heart basically work under some you can say situation like contraction of heart, relaxation of heart, contraction of heart, relaxation of heart. Contraction plus relaxation together it is called one heartbeat. Together it is called one heartbeat or cardiac cycle. Contraction of heart, relaxation of heart, together it is called one heartbeat or cardiac cycle. And one heartbeat or cardiac cycle takes around 0.8 second. Now this cardiac cycle 0.8 second is divided into three steps: arterial systole, ventricular systole, joint diastole. Arterial systole, ventricular systole, joint diastole. Arterial systole: when both the auricle receives the blood, and they transfer this blood to their respective ventricle, by crossing through arterioventricular septum, arterioventricular groove, arterioventricular aperture or coronary sulcus. Backflow is prevented by tricuspid valve at the right side and bicuspid valve at the left side, also called mitral valve. So both auricle receive blood and transfer to ventricle. This is required only 0.1 second, called arterial systole. See, explanation is more, but task performance is very easily. See, both auricle receive blood, transfer to ventricle, that's all, 0.1 second. It is called arterial systole. And when both ventricle pump the blood, they require 0.3 second, which is called ventricular systole. Right auricle pump impure blood to the pulmonary trunk, left auricle pump pure blood to the systemic aorta. Both ventricles are requiring 0.3 second because they have to pump, not to receive. Auricle has to only receive and put into ventricle, therefore they are taking only 0.1 second as their arterial systole, but both ventricle has to pump, therefore they are taking too much time. It's called ventricular systole. And when this arterial systole and ventricular systole perform one more time, it's called joint diastole, which requires 0.4 second. So arterial systole 0.1 second, ventricular systole 0.3 second, joint diastole 0.4 second. Total it is a 0.8 second. One heartbeat or cardiac cycle. Now, regulation of cardiac activity. Generally, our heart is regulated by one specific mechanism. Our heart is made by cardiac muscle, so it is involuntary muscle. It is not controlled by central nervous system. It is controlled by autonomic nervous system. And in autonomic nervous system, there are further two different separation, like a sympathetic autonomic nervous system, parasympathetic autonomic nervous system. And both these nervous systems are controlled by medulla organ, which is located at the back side in the hindbrain. Medulla organ is nothing but the cardiovascular controlling center of our you can say our heart. When we wanted to undergo heart beating, instead of saying when we wanted to, our heart is actually 24-hour working. There is no intention that this time we have to work, this time heart has to beat, this time don't have to heart beat. Heart will work until the death, continuation. Okay guys, so basic thing is that we have one hormone in our body called adrenaline, which is also called as a epinephrine. The function of adrenaline or epinephrine is to increase heartbeat, and it is generally produced in some emergency situations such as flight, fright, fight, you can say anger, fear, etc. When we see snake, our heartbeat increases because we fear from that animal. When we see leopard or tiger, our heartbeat increases. I mean to say in real manner. Yes, our heartbeat increases just because we are fearing from that animal. So heartbeat increased by the adrenaline hormone. Now opposite hormone which decrease the heartbeat is called acetylcholine, also known as a noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Adrenaline increase heartbeat, noradrenaline decrease heartbeat. Adrenaline also called epinephrine and noradrenaline also called as a norepinephrine. Okay, and it also have a third name called acetylcholine. So simply our heart is regulated by adrenaline and noradrenaline hormones. Okay, now moving towards the blood vessel. What are the blood vessels? Blood vessels are nothing but the specialized type of a tube or specialized type of a duct or specialized type of biological pipe in our body which are carrying our blood from the heart to the body tissue and from body tissue back to the heart. Yes, heart to the body tissue, body tissue back to the heart. There are basically three kind of blood vessels: artery, vein and capillary. I have also already explained you detailed you can say differentiation between artery and vein. You can look in this lecture, you can search about blood vessels by Anand Vani in YouTube, so you will get it. So arteries are nothing but the type of a blood vessel which are carrying pure blood, means oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart and heart to the body tissue. All arteries are carrying except pulmonary artery, which is carrying impure blood from pulmonary trunk to the lungs. And all vein carry deoxygenated blood. All vein carry deoxygenated blood from body tissue to the heart and heart to the lungs, except pulmonary vein which carry oxygenated or pure blood from lungs to the heart. All arteries are deeply located in our body, but all arteries are deeply located in our body, but some arteries are superficial. All veins are superficial. See, all arteries are deeply, means located very deeply inside our muscle. Only few arteries are located the superficial or just below the skin. And all veins are superficially located just above the skin. You can see these are veins. Okay, all arteries carry pure blood, oxygen blood that I told you. As artery carry pure blood, therefore arteries are almost a red in color because they are having oxygen plus hemoglobin. Vein carry carbon dioxide plus hemoglobin, therefore veins are having late faint red color. Therefore veins are bluish in color, arteries are reddish in color. Artery have a pressured blood because of O2 and hemoglobin. Vein have a no pressure blood because CO2 and hemoglobin. Artery have a narrow lumen. Lumen means space from which blood pass. That's called lumen. Artery have a narrow lumen just because having a pressured blood, oxygenated blood. But vein are having very large broad lumen because vein have a CO2, no pressured blood. Got it? Artery and vein externally both are made by tunica externa. From middle both are made by tunica media, and from internal both are made by tunica interna. And they all these muscles are made by only endothelium. So this MCQ will be there in our practice paper. Okay. So this is about the artery and vein. Capillaries are those smallest fiber or smaller hair like a small thin one which are carrying maximum of our blood to the tissue and to the cytoplasm of a cell. If question arises that which type of a blood vessel carry maximum blood, so the answer is capillary, not the artery, not the aorta, not vein, not you can say pulmonary trunk. Maximum is capillary because in our body all these are the large parts which are turned into the small and then finally convert into tissue, finally convert into cell, and inside the cytoplasm only capillary can reach. That's why maximum blood is withdrawn to the body tissues and cells via capillary. Hope so you understood this technically properly. And now after blood vessel we are going to discuss about the heartbeat and pulse rate. What is heartbeat? Contraction and relaxation. Contraction and relaxation of heart is called heartbeat. And one heartbeat is equal to one pulse rate. Like our heart undergo contraction, so this blood flows inside the artery and you can hear the pulse here, you can feel the pulse here. If you wanted to hear the heartbeat, then you have to use an instrument called stethoscope, because when heart undergo contraction you will hear the sound called as a lub, and when heart undergo relaxation you will hear the sound called as a dub. So lub sound comes when heart undergo contraction and dub sound comes when heart undergo relaxation. contraction plus relaxation. This is called cardiac cycle, also called one heartbeat. Now a general person, means normal adult person, have a 72 heartbeats per minute. In case if that person is having no any you can say heart related disorder or blood related disorder, so that person will have a 72 heartbeats per minute. If heartbeats are more than 100, then that person is suffering from tachycardia disease, and if heartbeats are less than 60, then that person is suffering from bradycardia disease. Come again one more time, listen. If heartbeats are more than 100, then it is called tachycardia disease, and if heartbeats are less than 60, then it is called bradycardia disease. Tachycardia disease more than 100, bradycardia disease less than 60. Due to the contraction of our ventricle muscle, around 70 ml of a blood is pumped from both the ventricle muscle in one heartbeat. So this 70 ml of blood pumped by our ventricle muscle per heartbeat is called as a SV. SV stands for stroke volume. And our heart pump blood per minute, that is called as a CO, cardiac output. Hope so you are getting this properly. When both ventricles pump the blood in a one beat, how much blood is pumped? 70 ml. So 70 ml is called as a SV, stroke volume. And in total 72 beat, means beating in 1 minute, total amount of a blood pumped by our heart per minute is called CO, cardiac output. See one more time. Total amount of a blood pumped by our ventricle muscle of heart per beat is called SV, stroke volume. SV means stroke volume. And total amount of a blood pumped by our ventricle of our heart per minute, it is called cardiac output, means CO. Now if you wanted to calculate how much our heart pump blood per minute, so you can calculate 72 heartbeats are there per minute. So 72 into 70 ml, because one heartbeat is a 70 blood and 72 are heartbeat. So 72 into 70, if you calculate it, so it will be the 5040, means 5 liter and 40 ml blood pump by our ventricles of our heart per minute. It's called cardiac output. Got it? This is heartbeat and pulse. Now come to the blood pressure. What is actually the blood pressure? Blood pressure can be defined. Now just imagine this one is our artery. Arteries are having 3 layers: external tunica media in middle, and tunica interna internal. And then there is an internal space. You can see that this is space. Yes. So now this space is a lumen. In case if we are having too much of a oily material like glycerides, cholesterol, if we are fatty, we are having diabetes, number of diseases are there, most probably due to the cholesterol and oily rich diet. If we are having a cholesterol rich diet, then cholesterol is sticking on the wall of an artery and it is not allowing the blood to get easily pass. So when our blood is getting passed from this area, this cholesterol is not allowing the blood to easily pass, and therefore blood is creating pressure on the wall of artery. See, I am trying to pass this blood, but these arteries are not allowing the blood to pass because there is a cholesterol is stick on the wall of artery. So blood is creating pressure on the wall of artery. That's why definition is pressure exerted on the wall of artery. It is called blood pressure. Pressure exerted on the wall of artery, it is called blood pressure. Normal adult person have a blood pressure which is 120 by 80 mmHg. 120 by 80 mmHg. Why we determine blood pressure in mmHg? Because blood pressure is measured in millimeter Hg mercury. We are using an instrument for measuring blood pressure that's called as a sphygmomanometer, also called as a BP apparatus. That old one BP apparatus which are also used by nowadays doctor, around 80% doctors are using same one, sphygmomanometer. Then a sphygmomanometer, if you open that box, then you will get one parameter, you can say meter, where mercury will be indicator for you can say indicating your blood pressure, and that's why we are using unit mmHg. Hg stands for mercury as a unit for the blood pressure measuring. There are two type of blood pressure, systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. Pressure generated due to the contraction of ventricular muscle is called systolic blood pressure. Normal adult have a systolic pressure is a 120 mmHg, and relaxation of a ventricle muscle generates a pressure that's called as a diastolic blood pressure. Diastolic blood pressure, and diastolic blood pressure is a 80 mmHg. Systolic blood pressure is a upper one, 120 mmHg, and diastolic blood pressure is a lower one, which is a 80 mmHg. But both are, systole as well as diastole, both are normal blood pressure. Systole 120 and diastole 80. It is a normal blood pressure. So an adult normal person have a 120 by 80 normal blood pressure. Got it? If blood pressure increases than this 120 by 80, then it is called hypertension, high blood pressure. If it decreases, then we call hypotension, low blood pressure. I'll tell you in detail in next topic. So this is about the blood pressure. Now ECG, electrocardiogram. What is that ECG? Electrocardiogram is nothing but the medical technique. It is nothing but the medical technique which was invented by the scientist called Dr. Willem Einthoven. Willem Einthoven in 1895. Dr. Willem Einthoven in 1895 invented the technique called electrocardiography. And in electrocardiography, we are able to find out whether our heart muscles are working properly or not, whether ventricles are working properly or not, auricles are working properly or not. That we can find out. Mainly, we are principle based is ventricle muscle. Yes. Generally, in the ECG, three kind of waves we can see. One is P wave, second one is a QRS complex, and third one is P wave, then QRS complex, and then third one is T wave. P wave is depolarized movement, slightly upward movement, depolarized movement generated due to contraction of atria, contraction of auricle muscle. QRS complex is a depolarized movement. It is a triangular depolarized movement generated due to the contraction of a ventricle muscle. And T wave is a slightly upward movement which is generated due to relaxation of ventricle movement. So it is not depolarized, it is not a depolarized, it is a repolarized. Okay, depolarized means contraction of muscle and repolarized means relaxation of muscle. So this is about electrocardiogram. When we are displaying the result of electrocardiogram, we are using one paper. That paper is called electrocardiograph paper. Electrocardiograph paper, which indicate displacement of waves, P wave, QRS complex, and T wave. And then next topic after the ECG, that's called disorders of circulatory system. So guys, circulatory system, in our NCERT we have some examples of disorder are given. Just like I'll tell you, hypertension. Okay, hypertension, then atherosclerosis, we also call coronary artery disease, then angina pectoris, then heart attack, clear, and heart failure. 5 are given, but I'll tell you around 10 concept in detail. Yes, you will, don't worry, you will be understand very easily. First, hypertension, hyper, more, tension, pressure, hypertension. Second, hypotension, hypo, low, tension, pressure. Hypertension, high blood pressure, hypotension, low blood pressure. What was the normal blood pressure? Normal blood pressure was a 120 by 80 mmHg. If a blood pressure increased than the 120 by 80, then it is called high blood pressure or hypertension. Like if a blood pressure is 140 by 90, it is cross 120 by 80, no? So 140 by 90, it is hypertension, high blood pressure. But this is not that much problematic because it is not too high. But when blood pressure reaches 220 by 120, it's a huge one, very high. It is called hypertension or high blood pressure. Now this hypertension, high blood pressure can damage our blood capillaries of our eye, blood capillaries of our brain, and blood capillaries of kidney, and it can be the problematic. So that much blood is not being tolerated. Yes, so this must give this must need a proper treatment by the cardiologist doctor, heart specialist, genius doctor. Okay, then basically the reason of this hypertension is first reason is cholesterol rich diet. If we are having a food which contains lots of cholesterol, so first reason is that cholesterol is considered as a bad cholesterol, LDL, low density lipoprotein, so it's a bad cholesterol. Some good cholesterols are also available in some kind of oily material, but this is cholesterol, this cholesterol is bad cholesterol. If bad cholesterol is consumed by us, then we can suffer from this hypertension. So first reason is cholesterol rich diet. Second, triglycerides, again oily material which is dangerous to our health. And then third one, saturated lipids, saturated fatty acid. There are two type of lipids, saturated lipid and unsaturated. Unsaturated like a MUFA, monounsaturated fatty acid, and polyunsaturated. These are good to our health, but saturated fatty acids are dangerous to our health. Then you can say obesity, smoking, alcoholic, diabetes, yes, and extra fat means obesity. These are some reasons like why hypertension happen, why hypotension happen. Then coronary artery disease, CAD. Coronary artery disease also called as atherosclerosis, means blockage of only coronary artery, the artery which supply blood to the heart and nearby chest region is called coronary artery. So blockage of only coronary artery, plaque formation takes place only in the coronary artery, is called coronary artery disease, also known as atherosclerosis, we called CAD. And reason of all the reason of hypertension are similar to the reason of coronary artery disease. Then angina, means angina pectoris we also call chest pain. If someone is suffering from coronary artery disease, then due to the blockage of coronary artery, sufficient amount of oxygen is not reaching to the heart and chest region, and therefore chest is suffering from much heavier pain, heavier and severe pain. We called it as a angina pectoris, heavier and severe chest pain. And then arteriosclerosis. Next, this is arteriosclerosis, means blockage of blockage of any artery in our body is called arteriosclerosis. Like a blockage of coronary artery is called atherosclerosis, and blockage of any artery in our body is called arteriosclerosis. Okay, you can search this topic in our, you can say, search option, and you will get this. Like a circulatory disorder related to circulatory system by Anand Wani, you will get this video. Then one, heart attack. What is heart attack? Sudden interruption of a blood moving towards the heart, it is called heart attack. When blood is moving towards the heart via a particular artery, if that artery undergoes sudden blockage, then it is called heart attack. It may last for 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 5 minutes, 10 minutes also. Yes, depend on which type of a stroke or attack it is. Then heart attack also called as a medically myocardial infarction. Heart attack also known as a myocardial infarction. Then heart arrest or cardiac arrest. What is heart arrest or cardiac arrest? Sudden stoppage of heart working. Heart function is to pump blood, is to beat. If heart from beating, see this demo, this heart is beating, now directly heart has stopped working. This is called cardiac arrest or heart arrest. If heart does not again start very quickly, then we can undergo death also. Yes, we can undergo death also. Like in ECG, P, Q, R, S and T, then lines straight comes. So straight line indicates that cardiac arrest and then stoppage of heartbeat, and now person has no more died. Okay, and after that I'll tell you heart failure. The function of a heart is to pump the blood. If heart stop working its function, then it is called as a heart failure. Okay, then finally angiography. What is angiography? Angiography is the medical technique by which, like I taught you about the blood vessel. Study of blood vessel is called angiology. Study of blood vessel is called angiology. Same way, to check how much our arteries are blocked and which artery is blocked, how much percent of artery is blocked, to check that we are using a technique called angiography. So simply, angiography is the medical technique by which we can diagnose how much our arteries are blocked. Okay, 10%, 20%, 30%. So we can, doctor can understand which kind of a treatment is, which kind of treatment should be recommended to this patient. how much medication should be given to that. So angiography is the best technique to finalize this. So this is about this one. I'll tell you two more words: bypass surgery and angioplasty. What is bypass surgery? Like when we are moving from one road, if this road is blocked due to some working under progress, or you can say accident, so we are taking another path and we are moving via another way and reaching to same target site. Like same way, if a particular artery is carrying blood to the heart, if that artery is blocked at the site of a entry of a heart, then we cut that artery and join to the another move that artery and join to the same area of heart, because destination site of a blood in that same part of a heart should be the same, but we can change the path of artery, we can divert the route of artery, but blood will be reached to the same site. It will be called bypass surgery. How we are doing bypass? By selecting road, same way bypass for the selecting transport of a blood, moving the route of artery, it will be called bypass. Then angioplasty. In some cases, particular artery is fully blocked and you can't move that artery by bypass surgery, then you have to cut that portion of artery and join it by the another polymer molecule. That is called angioplast, and the technique is called angioplasty. This can save our lives. In some cases, SA node is not working. Now SA node is a very important for cardiac activity, yes, because it is starting the signal for a beating. So SA node is very important for cardiac activity. If SA node does not work, we know, I taught you that SA node is also known as a pacemaker of our body. If SA node does not work, so that time our doctor recommend us to put one instrument called as a pacemaker. Surgically we put that instrument into our heart at the SA node site, and that pacemaker work as a SA node. If you purchase the pacemaker from the good manufacturer company, so it will be costly also, and it will give you the expiry date around expiry date of that machine around 3 to 7 years, and it is fully made by the nickel and cadmium battery. Like our mobile is made by lithium battery, so that pacemaker is made by the nickel and cadmium battery, and that give you charging by use of oxygen molecule. So this is, guys, full exploring revision about the chapter number 18, body fluids and circulation, from the 11th standard CBSE. Okay, so in this chapter I have explained you full detail about introduction. I have given you full detail about every topic. Every topic I have explained you 15 minutes, half hour, 1 hour also. In a heart we have taken a 1 hour lecture also. So if you wanted to see any kind of a video, like it is a common thing that in a revision you will not understand full thing. Like I have explained, I have used my around 10 to 12 hours in explaining complete this chapter, a small video, medium video and large video, and I cannot complete all this lecture in just only this 1 hours of you can say revision. So you can understand that, but if you wanted to see any kind of video related to this chapter, then you have to just select that topic. If you wanted to see the external structure of heart, so what you do, put in YouTube external structure of heart by Anand Wani. So you will get directly my video. Out of lakhs of a video on YouTube, you will get this video, a single individual video of mine in front of you. So you can use that. Okay, so in this unit I have explained you the introduction to the heart, I explained you the blood and formed element, I have explained you blood group, ABO system, RH factor, I have explained you lymphatic vessel, lymph node, everything. I have explained you blood clotting mechanism, how blood undergo clotting, yes, and I have explained you external structure of heart, internal structure of heart, and introduction to the heart. I have explained you cardiac activity, conducting system, working of a heart. I have explained you how basically heart undergo working by use of adrenaline and noradrenaline hormone. I have explained you type of a circulation, open, close, incomplete, double circulation and single circulation. I explained you pulmonary, systematic and coronary circulation. I have also explained you heartbeat, pulse, and then blood pressure, ECG, and blood vessel, artery, vein, blood capillary, all the blood related disorder, hypertension, hypotension, atherosclerosis, angina pectoris, arteriosclerosis, heart attack, also called myocardial infarction. Then you can say cardiac arrest, also known as a you can say heart arrest. Then angiography, angioplasty, bypass surgery, heart failure, etc, etc, etc. So thank you so much for watching this video. Hope so you have enjoyed this video and understood too much everything about the heart and their related topic in this full lecture. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you truly understand this video, then please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon, and don't forget to like and you can say comment it at the bottom. And please share this video as much as you can with your friends so that they can also take this advantage. Thank you. Have a good day.